Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, Gundeep Ahluwalia is leaving the Department of Labor after 8 years as CIO. And the White House pushes to support global cooperation on quantum. It's Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening. Have you registered yet for the largest annual gathering of C-level executives, leaders, and innovators from the government and tech communities? FedScoop's 15th annual Fed Talks is just under a month away. The annual gathering brings together more than 1,000 of the country's most influential leaders for one day of discussion, exploring ways technology and people can transform government and our nation. Topics this year include federal AI adoption, zero trust security progress, election security, 21st century digital services, data as a foundation for emerging technologies, cloud security, bolstering the federal tech workforce, quantum computing and cryptography, and much, much more. Sign up today at fedtalks.upgather.com. Now to today's top headlines. One of the longest tenured CIOs in the government is stepping away from federal service. Gundeep Ahluwalia sent a letter to staff this week announcing that Friday will be his last day after more than 8 years with the Department of Labor. In his note, Ahluwalia called the department's biggest accomplishment during his time its ability to, quote, attract talent and create leaders, saying that the Labor's Office of the CIO is a formidable leadership factory. Ahluwalia, a winner of multiple FedScoop 50 awards, oversaw the Department of Labor's IT portfolio during a period of major transformation, including the department's work to modernize unemployment benefits delivery with states during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Under his leadership, DOL has also been a frequent winner of Technology Modernization Fund awards, 5 times in total for projects such as data modernization, cybersecurity, faster processing of labor certifications, and streamlining the integrated federal employee compensation system. Ahluwalia spoke with FedScoop earlier this year at the 2024 AWS Innovate Day about how new technologies like artificial intelligence could impact labor's multifaceted mission. He pointed to examples like workers' compensation claims and injuries submitted to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration as mission areas that can be made more efficient using AI. Ahluwalia did not reveal what he would be doing next after leaving the Labor Department. In other news, you heard on yesterday's episode that NIST has released 3 long-awaited standards to protect against cyber threats in the age of quantum computers. To support that effort, the White House is calling for more funding and interagency coordination for the advancement of international cooperation in quantum information science and technology. A document released Monday by the Office of Science and Technology Policy details a series of QIST-related recommendations from a subcommittee within the National Science and Technology Council, including that the U.S. government create long-term funding mechanisms for QIST collaboration and cooperation and establish and track global metrics for QIST and the competitiveness of enabling technologies. The report calls for enhanced interagency coordination of international cooperation practices to reinforce an integrated U.S. government-wide portfolio for international quantum information science and technology engagement. The motivation for the international QIST cooperation, OSTP said in the document, is to strengthen international engagements, promote access to resources and markets, guide QIST-related policies and practices on the global stage, and more. The office, however, also points to challenges that complicate the development of effective international collaboration, such as mismatches with foreign partners on diverse topics like funding systems and technical capabilities. The report says that while the United States has supported international cooperation in QIST for decades, opportunities exist to adjust and strengthen its approach that will better position the nation to both leverage international engagements and advance U.S. priorities related to QIST. OSTP noted that a frequent challenge for the nation in the quantum space is that a foreign country will approach U.S. agencies to individually propose formal and informal partnerships, and agencies' staff could be unaware of ongoing partnerships that could be leveraged for cooperation. To address the issue, the White House suggested that agencies bolster formal and informal mechanisms for international coordination that are not as resource-intensive or time-consuming as memoranda of understanding or agreements. Specifically, agencies that lead and fund QIST research and development should identify trusted partners in the international community that can accelerate ongoing work. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.